Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. Now, it's been an action-packed fortnight of athletics, so let's check it all out, starting with the Diamond League meet held in London on 19 July. A total of 3 area records, a world under 18 best, 3 world leads, 1 Diamond League record, and 5 meet records were set in London. The very best mark of the meet came from the men's discus, an event which has produced fabulous marks this year, and it came from the author of the best of them all, world record holder Mikolas Alekna, who produced a gigantic throw of 71 meters 70 in the third attempt to dominate the competition, almost 3 meters more than runner-up Christian Se, the 2022 world champion, who could not add to his winning streak of 9 competitions. Alekna's mark is the best throw ever recorded in the Diamond League. Let's continue with the men, where we need to highlight Kenya's middle distance wonders. In the 800 meters, reigning Olympic champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi, who led all the way, looked vulnerable at the closing stages as Canada's reigning world champion Marco Arop surged past him in the final bend. But Wanyonyi took back the lead, closing in 1 minute 42.00 ahead of Arop, 1:42.21, and home athlete Max Bergin, 1:42.36. Now, the men's 800 meters is a very competitive event, and London confirmed that again. And it's good to see another name back in the mix, as 2019 world champion Donovan Brazier continued his comeback from Haglund's disease and subsequent Achilles tendon surgery, finishing 6th with 1:43.08. Welcome back, Donovan. Moving up to the 1500, there was more joy for Kenya. After his stunning 3:27.72 in only his second ever 1500-meter race at the Paris Diamond League, Kenya's 18-year-old Fanuel Kipkosgei Koech has run 2 other races under 3:30. And in London, he took a convincing win to claim the scalp of home star and reigning world champion Joshua Kerr, winning in 3:28.82 to the Brits' 3:29.37. Definitely, Koech is one of the most interesting athletes of 2025. And an interesting note from the 1500 by Ethiopian-Canadian journalist Bizwayo Waga, who wrote on X that Selemon Barega, the Tokyo Olympic 10,000-meter champion, who finished 9th at the London race, had thus achieved an impressive feat as he attained the qualifying standard for the Tokyo World Championships in 4 distance, 1500, 5,000, 10,000, and marathon. Impressive. Finally, the Ethiopian Federation selected Barega for the 10,000 in Tokyo. So that's it for the men. Among the women, the best performance came in the sprints, with the reigning 100-meter Olympic champion Julian Alfred moving up to the 200 and producing a dominant display, increasing the gap from her competitors in the home straight to close in 21.71 world lead into 0.6 meters headwind, far ahead of home sprinters Dina Asher-Smith, 22.25, and Amy Hunt, 22.31. And another dominant feat came from the Netherlands, reigning 400-meter hurdles world champion Femke Bol, who won her event in 52.10, which is a superb time as the track was still soaking wet as it had rained early in the afternoon. and she was more than 1 second ahead of runner-up Jasmine Jones with 53.18. With Sydney McLaughlin-Livroni not contesting the 400 hurdles at the US trials, where she would have needed to qualify for Tokyo, it seems no one will stand between Femke Bol and a title repeat in Japan. Finally, the other notable performance of the evening came from Ethiopia's Udaf Segai in the mile. The former 5,000 and 10,000 meter world record holder, who was in the lead from the start, clocked a world-leading 4 minutes 11.88 to take her first Diamond League win of the year. The mark was one of 3 meet records, together by those with those by Alekna and Julian Alfred, and propels Segai to number 2 in the all-time list. But the mark is still over 4 seconds slower than Faith Kipyegon's 2023 world record. Australia's Jessica Hull again valiantly tried to stay with the leader and was rewarded with yet another area record, clocking 4:13.68, a big improvement on her own mark set in Kipyegon's race in the 2023 race. Hull currently holds 6 Oceania records, and it was the second continental best in 8 days for her, after the 1,000 meter mark she had set in Monaco on the 11th. Further behind, the USA's Sinclair Johnson finished 4th, clocking 4 minutes 16.32, just 6 hundredths behind Ireland's Sarah Healy, to shave 3 hundredths off the NACAC record, which her compatriot Nikki Hills had set in 2023, also in Kipyegon's world record race. And there was another Oceania record in the women's 5,000 meters, where Australia's Rose Davis clocked 14:31.45 to place 3rd in the race won by Ethiopia's Medina Eza, and blast over 9 seconds of her own outdoor mark from last April, but over 8 of the indoor mark set back in 2009 by her compatriot Kimberly Smith. And the other Aussie in the race, Georgia Griffith, was also well under the previous record. It was a race of great depth, with all 16 finishers under the entry standard for the Tokyo World Championships. And among them, in 8th place, Ethiopia's 17-year-old Marta Alemayo clocked 14:34.46 to take over 2.5 seconds of the age category world best, which had belonged to her compatriot Birke Heilom from the 2023 edition of the London Diamond League. And this is the 3rd world under-18 best set by Alemayo this year, after those in the indoor and outdoor 3,000 meters set respectively in Astana in January and Rabat Diamond League in May. So let's move now to the European Athletics Under-23 Championships held in Bergen, Norway on 17 to 20 July. 12 championship records were set there, as well as 3 European under-23 records, all in the relays, in what was the best ever edition of the event based on the World Athletics scoring tables. The top performance of the championships came in the 400-meter hurdles, where Germany's Ove Fischer-Breiholz, who with 48.01 smashed the previous championships record of 48.37, led 2 other athletes also under the previous mark, which had belonged to Karsten Warholm. Among the women, the best performance came from Norway's World Indoor bronze medalist Henriette Jäger, who clocked 49.74 in the 400 meters and almost doubled up in the 200. We will quickly review the best of Bergen in several data screens, starting with the 12 championships records, equally divided with 6 among the men and 6 among the women. Here they all are. So in the 400 listed by event order, in the 400 meters, 44.82 for the Netherlands, Jonas Vijvers. In the 800, Francesco Pernici, 1:44.06, and we'll talk about this again later. In the 3,000 meter steeplechase, 8:20.17 for Poland's Maciej Megier, and the top 4 athletes were also under the previous championship record. 400 hurdles we have already mentioned. Then 2 bests in the relays, 4x100 by France with 38.43, and the mile relay with 3:02.02 by Spain. That is also a European under-23 record and confirms Spain as a new powerhouse in the relays. Among the women, 400 meters, as we saw by Henriette Jäger, was the best mark of the competition. 800 meters, 1:57.42 for Audrey Werro of Switzerland. In the 400 hurdles, 54.08 for Britain's Emily Newnham. Heptathlon, Saga Vanninen of Finland improved to 6,563 points. That's the 3rd best performance of the year. And again, the 2 relays, sprint relay 42.92 for Great Britain and Northern Ireland, also a European under-23 record. And the mile relay also for Great Britain and Northern Ireland with 3:26.52, also a European under-20 record. Now, as always, I like to look at the best marks by result scores. And here they are. So we already mentioned several times 400-meter hurdles by Ove Fischer-Breiholz, but the other athletes on the podium, Turkey's Ismail Nezir and Slovenia's Matic Jan Vucek, were also under the championship record, and their marks are just after the winner. Then the 800 meters. Now, what's interesting here is that the championship record by Francesco Pernici came in the heats, 1:44.06, and there were a lot of other athletes under the previous mark. Also in heat 2, 1:44.10 for Henry Jonas of Great Britain, 1:44.19 for Niels Larosa, who went on to win the final in 1:44.36. And the last mark is the sprint relay by France. So all these marks are worth between 1,231 for the winner of the 400 hurdles to 1,193 for Niels Larosa in the final and the French sprint relay. Among the women, 400 hurdles, we've already mentioned, Henriette Jäger's mark is worth 1,216 points on the scoring tables. 800-meter Audrey Werro, then 400 hurdles Emily Newnham, heptathlon Saga Vanninen, 400 meters runner-up Yemi Mary John, also makes the top 6 by performance score, and 800 meters, 1:59.18 for Spain's Rocío Arroyo. But in addition to records, there were other special performances in Bergen. So let's take a look. Now, there have been many great double goals over time in different competitions, but Niels Larosa is really unprecedented because he won the 800 and the 5,000. Now, that's a very unusual double, and he achieved it. 144.36 in the 800, 13.4474 tactical race in the 5,000. Henriette Jaeger almost did a double. She won 400-meter gold and was silver in the 200, but what's special here is that she did it all in the space of 3 hours, so 49.74 as we saw, and 22.78. Stefan Nillesen of the Netherlands also had a gold in the 1500 and silver in the steeplechase. Then there were 2 podium sweeps for Germany in the women's shot put and in the men's discus. And finally, the 800 meters with a top quality heat 1 with 3 athletes, all under the previous championship record, which dated from 1999 and was the oldest among the men. So finally, let's take a look at the medal table topped by Germany with 5 golds, 9 silvers and 12 bronze, a total of 26 medals, which is more than twice as many medals as any other country. Great Britain and Spain and the Netherlands all had 4 golds, but Britain had 4 silver and 3 bronze against 3 silver for Spain and the Netherlands, and Spain had 4 bronze and against 1 for the Netherlands. France and Italy both had 3 golds, but 6 silvers for France against Italy's 3 and 3 bronze medals for both. 30 countries won at least 1 medal. Germany also dominated the placing table, totaling 250 points ahead of France with 146, Spain 129, Italy 117.5, Great Britain 114, and the Netherlands with 84. And Germany was the host of the country days later on 21 to 26 July of the FISU World University Games held in the Rhine-Ruhr region with athletics staged in Bochum. 3 games records were set in the men's events, 1 among the women plus another 1 equaled, and 2 more coming in the mixed 4x4, which, however, was being contested for the first time at the Universiade. So let's check them all out. In the half marathon, 1 hour 02:29 for Japan's Shinsaku Kudo, that's just over 1 minute better than the previous best by Marilson Gomes dos Santos of Brazil, which dated back to 1997. In the steeplechase, 8 minutes 18.46 for Ruben Kerinjan of Luxembourg. In the 20 kilometers race walk, Andrea Cosi of Italy improved by almost 1 minute the 2007 mark, which had been set by Russia's Andrei Krivlov. And his performance is worth 1,195 points result score. Among the women, 10,000 meters, Clara Lucan, 31:25.84, improved the previous best by over 20 seconds, and that was a really old one from 1989 by Romania's Viorica Ghican. In the 20 kilometers race walk, Australia's Elizabeth Macmillan equaled the championship record of 1:28.18, which belonged to Anisha Kirdyapkina of Russia. And as we said in the mixed relay, twice the record was, we can't really say improved, but set. 3:19.10 by Poland in the heats and then 3:15:58 in the final. But the best men's result, however, came from Norway's Simen Guttormsen, who cleared a 5:75 PB in the pole vault to add the Universiade gold to his NCAA indoor title. And that mark is worth 1,198. The second best men's mark was Andrea Cosi's 20 kilometers race walk championship record, as we said, 1,195 result score, while South Africa's Leith Pillay signed the third best result of the games in terms of result score over 400 meters, as his winning time of 44.84 is worth 1,191. Among the women, the best result came from Italy's 400-meter hurdler Alice Muraro, whose winning time, a PB of 54.60, is worth 1,185 points in the scoring tables. Second best was Finland's high hurdler Sara Keskitalo, and it was achieved in the heats, where she clocked 12.82, worth 1,174 points. She proceeded to win both semis and finals, but with slower times. And the top three was completed by Ireland's Kate O'Connor, who won the heptathlon with a total of 6,487 points, fourth best mark of 2025, and equivalent to a result score of 1,171. I would, however, like to highlight performances by two under-20 athletes. South Africa's under-20 star Bayanda Walaza completed the sprint double in Bochum. He first took the 100 meters title in a fast 10.16, especially as it was into a headwind of 0.7 meters per second, then completed the job with a 20.63 victory in the 200 meters, again into a headwind, those slighter 0.3 meters per second. Walaza also anchored South Africa to silver in the sprint relay with 38.80, behind a surprising Korea with 38.50. Now, records in the sprints were hard to beat, especially in the 200 meters, where the 19.72 clocked by Italy's Pietro Mennea in Mexico City in 1979 had stood as a world record until it was broken in the 1996 Olympics by Michael Johnson. Another athlete to shine at the Universiade was Uzbekistan's Sharifa Davronova, whom we see here in a file photo, who won the triple jump with a mark of 14.33. It was a PB for Davronova, who had won the World Under-20 Championships in Cali in 2022, aged just 15, and retained her title 2 years later in Lima. So let's now check out the medal table, which is topped by Japan, which is interesting, ahead of Australia, thanks to one additional silver medal. Japan 5 golds, 3 silver and 3 bronze, and Australia had just 1 silver less. Then People's Republic of China, South Africa, and Italy with 4 golds each, but 4 silver and 3 bronze for China, against 2 silver and 4 bronze for South Africa, and 1 silver, 4 bronze for Italy. Poland and Turkey both had 3 golds, but 3 silvers for Poland and 1 bronze, against 2 silvers and 3 bronze for Turkey. Spain and Germany both with 2 golds, but 3 silvers for Spain and 4 bronze. Oh, sorry, they're tied with exactly the same number of medals. 25 countries won gold, and 40 countries won at least one medal. So diversity not only at the elite level, but also among the student athletes. And now we come to the event that decided one of the top athletics countries' Tokyo team, ahead of the numerous national championships being staged today and over the weekend. And that's the Kenya trials for the World Championships held on 22 July in Nairobi. Now, I was super impressed with the women's 10,000 meters, especially at the high altitude of Nairobi. Janet Chepngetich, the winner, clocked 30:27:02. She was followed by Agnes Jebet-Ngetich with 30:27:38 and world record holder Beatrice Chebet with 30:27:52. Now, I found it interesting that Beatrice Chebet said, we were running as a team to see how we're going to operate at the World Championships in Tokyo. So that promises to be a really interesting race. Another excellent mark in the Nairobi altitude came from 3,000 meter steeplechase, 9:06.44 for Faith Cherotich. And among the men, I was impressed by the winner of the 800, Nicholas Kiplangat Kebenei, 1:43:54. Even though Emmanuel Wanyonyi had run a super fast time in Nairobi a couple of years ago. So let's go back to the global competitions, as there were also several underage championships over the past fortnight, including the African under-20 and under-18 championships held in Abeokuta, Nigeria, between 16 and 20 July. Now, for some reason, none of the event's results appear in the World Athletics lists or in Tilas Topaya. But there's a report and on the World Athletics websites and other sources. And the best result in Abeokuta was the 6:71 long jump win by Nigeria's Prestina Ochonogor, just 8 centimeters short of her own under-20 Africa record, which shattered the previous championship best held since 2015 with 6:33 by her compatriot Eze Brume, who went on to win Olympic and World Championship bronze. Among the men, the star of the competition was arguably Botswana's Justice Oratile, who secured 3 gold medals, winning the 200 meters in 21:02 and 400 45.58, as well as the mile relay. Oratile was part of the younger team, which secured 3rd place at the World Relays in Guangzhou, qualifying Botswana for the World Championships, even after top runners had pulled out from the competition. And here's a quick recap of the special performances in Abeokuta. So let's look first at individual multi-medalists. And the under-20s, we mentioned Justice Oratile, and also gold in the mile relay, though it was after a DQ for Nigeria and Zimbabwe. Now, this is interesting because Clinton Owatinya of Kenya took gold in the 100 and silver in the 200. So among the men, Kenya is now becoming a sprint powerhouse. Among the women, also the same combination, 100-meter gold and 200-meter silver for Nigeria's Choma Cynthia Nweke, and her teammate Success Oyibu took gold in the 200 and silver in the 100. Among the under-18s, Mukuona Makavela of South Africa took double sprint gold. Teammate Tumi Ramaphosa took 2 golds in the 110 hurdles and the 400 hurdles. And among the women, Miracle Ezechukwu of Nigeria, 2 golds in the sprints and also gold in the sprint medley relay. And Jaden Fourie of South Africa took gold in the long jump and silver in the 100 meters. Now, special in the competition, Pristina Ochonogor, as we said, shattered the under 20 long jump championship record. Fenyo Mien broke the under 18 110 hurdles championship record in spite of a headwind of 1.5 meters per second. So that's quite a feat. In the discus, South Africa's Joshua Gerber threw 64.48, just 3 centimeters short of the world age 15 best. And then Nigerian women were absolutely amazing with podium sweeps in the under 20 women's 200 meters, under 20 women's 400, under 18 women 100 and 200 meters. So there were other good results in the US and especially European meets, including Berlin, and we will mention them all in the top marks section, but one deserves special attention, and that is the excellent time recorded by reigning Olympic and world champion Winfried Javi on 19 July over 3,000 meter steeplechase at the KBC Nachte in Heusden-Zolder, Belgium, with 8:49.59. A race she totally dominated, as the runner-up was almost a full 30 seconds behind her. So Javi has produced impressive races in July, first in Eugene and now in Belgium, and certainly is gearing up for Tokyo. So it's time to go back now to the global overview of our sport and check out all the best results since the last show, starting with the senior men's events. In the 100 meters, in Eisenstadt in Austria, Brian Lavelle of Jamaica clocked 9.82, which is the 3rd performance of the year, behind 2 marks by his compatriot Kishane Thompson. Also very interesting in Powder Springs in the US, 9.84 for Ghana's Abdul Rashid Saminu, who improves his previous best of 9.86. And then also 9.86 for Oblique Seville in London into a headwind of 0.6 meters per second. 400 meters, some good marks in London, 44.14 for surprise winner Charles Dobson, ahead of Matthew Hudson-Smith with 44.27, and Zakithi Nene, the world leader, with 44.29. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, we mentioned his win at the London Diamond League with 1:42.00. Just behind him, Marco Arop, and those are really good performances. 1,267 points for Wanyonyi, 1,260 for Arop. Then Max Bergen, 1:42.36, Bryce Hoppel, 1:42.71, and Donovan Brazier, 1:43.08. Over 1,500, we also mentioned Fanuel Kipgoske Koech in London with another amazing performances. And Josh Kerr was well behind, but still a very good mark, 1,262 result score points for Koech and 1,254 for Kerr. In the mile, in Berlin, Norway's Narve Gilje Nordas clocked 3:47.68, which is the best performance of the year after the amazing race in Eugene. 6 of the top marks of the year come from that race. In the 400 hurdles, we already mentioned at the Universiade, Ove Fischer Breiholz, but there's also a very good mark of 48.04 for Qatar's Ismail Duda Abakar in Berlin. In the pole vault, also in Berlin, 5 meters 92 for Turkey's Ersu Shashma, who improves on his PB of 590 twice set in February this year. Behind him, also with the same mark, Menno Floon of the Netherlands, and also 5 meters 92 for Emanuel Karalis at the Balkan Championships in Volos in Greece. Discus throw, we mentioned the Diamond League record of 71.70 by Mikola Salekna. That's worth 1,276 points. Then in the sprint relay, Jamaica winners in London with 37.80, and that's worth 1,242 points. So best performances of the fortnight, Mikola Salekna, as we said, 1,276 points, followed by Brian Lavelle in the 100 meters with 1,269. Emmanuel Wagnoni, his 142.00 is worth 1,267 points. Marco Arop is 1,260 points. 984 for Abdul Rashid Saminu is worth 1,262 points, as is the mark by Fanuel Kipkosgei-Koech in winning the Diamond League. Top performance of the year remains Mikolas Alekna's world record set in Ramona. So let's now check the best women's mark of the last fortnight. 200 meters, 21.71 in London by Julian Alfred. That's worth 1,271 points. Now, we mentioned the mile race in London, but Gudav Segai and Jessica Hull also clocked very good times in their 1,500 meter split. 354.75 for Segai, 355.64 for Jessica Hull. And interestingly, Hull's mark is 1,241 points against 1,240 for her area record. So great race for both ladies. Now, 10,000 meters at the Kenya trials. That's short of our cutoff of 1,230 points. But as I mentioned earlier, the fact that these ladies are able to run in 30 minutes 27 at 1,700 meters altitude is really impressive. On the 400 hurdles in London, 52.10 for Femke Bolle, that's worth 1,265 points. Jasmine Jones just makes our cut. Her 53.18 is worth precisely 1,230. In the heptathlon, we already mentioned the two very good marks by Saga Vanninen in the European Under-23 Championships and by Kate O'Connor at the Universiade. In London, there was a very good time for the 4x100 meter sprint relay of Dean Asher-Smith, Amy Hunt, Desiree Henry, and Daryl Nata, who clocked 41.69. Best women's performances of the fortnight. The 21.71 by Julian Alfred and the 8:49.59 in the steeplechase by Winfried Javi, both worth 1,271 points. Followed by 52:10 by Femke Bol, that's 1,265. And then the marks by Gudaf Segai in the mile, 1,254, followed by Jessica Hull with 1,240 points. And as we mentioned, Gudaf Segai and Jessica Hull also in their 1,500 meter splits. Top women's performance of 2025 remains the area record set by Valerie Allman in Ramona, worth 1,321 points. Now, under 20 and under 18 athletes also registered some great performances in the past fortnight. And before we look at all their top marks, let's talk in more depth about the very best performances in this age group, where 3 World Under 18 Bests were set in the last fortnight. We already spoke about Marta Alemayo's 5,000 meter mark at the London Diamond League meet. The second World Under 18 Best came at the European Youth Olympic Festival in Skopje in Macedonia, held between 20 and 26 July. There, Estonian pole vaulter Allika Inkeri-Moser, who had already improved to 4 meters 41 last month in her home country, climbing to number 9 on the under 18 all-time list, achieved a big improvement. And at the EYOF, she cleared 4 meters 52, adding 1 centimeter to the previous world best held by the USA's Amanda Mall. And the final World Under 18 Best came from the Japanese high school championships, and it was the most stunning one. On 26 July in Hiroshima, there was another sensational performance in this age category. 16-year-old Satori Shimizu, who had set his previous PB of 20.19 at the beginning of the month, scorched the track to win in a sizzling 10 flat. That destroys the previous World Under 18 Best of 10.06, jointly held by the USA's Christian Miller and Thailand's Puripol Bumson, both dating from 2023. And 2 days later, Shimizu was also the fastest over 200 meters in a windy 20.39 with a 2.7 tailwind and a regular 20.97 in the heats. So 3 different continents, 3 World Under 18 Bests in 8 days. I love that. So let's now check all top marks for these categories, starting with the under 20s. 100 meter men, Sorato Shimizu's 10 flat is not only a World Under 18 Best, but it's also equal number 8 on the under 20 all-time lists. Over 400 meters, Russia's Alexei Danilov, competing in Belarus, clocked 44.56, moving to number 9 in the under 20 all-time list. In the 1500, the 328.82 by Fanuel Kipkoskei Koech in London is better than number 3 on the under 20 all-time list, but of course he already has the world record. 810 hurdles, now behind powerhouses Chen Wanjiang and of China and Kendry Menendez of Cuba. There was an interesting result also at the Japanese high school championships by Jeremy Koga, 13.45, which moves him to equal number 14 in the under 20 all-time list. Then 2 marks in the race walk. In the 5,000 meters, 19:23.43 for Daniel Monfort of Spain, moves to number 9 in the under 20 all-time list. While in the 10,000 meters race walk, Ecuador's Ivan Dario Oña Colcha with 39:21.99 moves to number 7 on the under 20 all-time list. Among the women, now for some silly reason which I don't understand, World Athletics has all-time lists on the mile only for indoor races, but the 4:19.74 by Birke Heilom in London is the best mark ever recorded by an under 20 athlete. And we had already mentioned in the 5,000, Marta Alemão's World Under 18 Best, which is also number 6 on the under 20 all-time list. And behind her, 2 very good marks. They were well behind Alemão, but still make the top 15 for the age category, top 15 of all time. 19:39.13 for Ethiopia's Yenawan Brett, moves her to number 13, and 14:39.56 by Great Britain's Ines Fitzgerald moves her to number 14 in the under 20 all-time list. Then we mentioned already Alika Inkeri Moser in the pole vault, and her World Under 18 Best is also number 16, equal on the under 20 all-time list. Sharifa Davronova in the triple jump, 14.33, moves her to number 12, equal on the under 20 all-time list. And then in London, on the sprint relay, there was a very good mark for Great Britain and Northern Ireland B, which was in fact an under 20 team, 43.29 for Nell Desir, Lucy Talland, Kaya Slater, and Mabel Akande, which is better than number 12 on the all-time list, but Great Britain under 20 have number 9. So let's look now at all top marks among the under 18s, many of them coming from the European Youth Olympic Festival in Skopje. Well, the first one of them obviously is not from the EYOF, that was Sorato Shimizu's World Under 18 Best in the 100 meters. And as we said, he also had a very good, albeit windy, 20.39 in the 200. Now, 2,000 meter steeplechase, that's an event which is not contested very often. So marks in Skopje enter the all-time top 15, 542.26 for Norway's Håkon Kamlesh Helser Sørstad, moves him to number 12. Mathis Dubois of Poland with 542.75 moves to number 15. And Poland's Michal Gadius with 543.43 is better than number 16, but he already has number 2. Another very interesting mark from the Japanese high school championships on the 400 hurdles, Taiju Goto, 49.84. Now, World Athletics only has lists for the under 18 height in the 400 hurdles. So that's a height of 0.84 centimeters. Goto's mark was achieved on the regular senior measure, but that would be number 6 on the under 18 all-time list with the lower height. So the fact that he ran it with the higher hurdles obviously means it's a very good mark. And in the 400 hurdles with the 84 centimeters height, 2 marks from Skopje, winner Diego Mancini with 50.01 moves to equal number 9 on the under-18 all-time list, and Turkey's runner-up Oguzian Yeki Yeşli Lombagil with 50.40 moves to 19 equal. In the decathlon, interesting mark from the under-18 South American Championships in Asunción, 7,646 points for Brazil's Paulo Henrique Krull, moves him to number 9 in the all-time list, while in Skopje, 7,605 for Matteo Sorci of Italy makes him climb to number 12. Sprint medley, among the men, 152.43 for the winners in Skopje, Czechia, under 18, moves them to number 11 in the all-time list. Among the women, also in Skopje, 100 meters, 10.21 for Kelly Douala of Italy, moves her to 17 on the under 18 all-time list, but it's the best ever mark for the age category in Europe. 5,000, we already mentioned Marta Alemayo's world under 18 best in London. Over the 100 hurdles, Italy's Alessia Succo in Skopje with 13.04 moves to equal number 9 in the under 18 all-time list. Alika Inkeri Moser in the pole vault scores a world under 18 best. Sprint medley relay. Now, this is another event which is not contested very often, but there were very good marks in Skopje. 2:04.57 for Italy, Margherita Castellani, Laura Frattaroli, Alessia Succo, and Kelly Douala moves them to number 3 in the under 18 all-time list. Then Switzerland, under 18, Mina Hirsbrunner, Fiona von Flue, Xenia Muri, and Tinea Rankel, 2:05.93, move to number 7. Poland, 2:06.30, Sofia Tomczyk, Aleksandra Przybilska, Milena Baszyńska, and Maja Gondek move to it's better than number 11, but Poland already has number 4. Ireland, 2:07.06, Destiny Lawal, Erin Fryle, Alice McHugh, and Molly Daly move to number 13. 2:07.30 for France, with Rose Jagbre, Béatrice Tassin, Oksane Kinge, Leonie Proust move to number 17 in the under 18 all-time list. So let's move now some cool athletics news. I'd like to congratulate Abel Kirui, the 2009 and 2011 World Marathon champion and 2012 Olympic silver medalist, who was still competing this year, aged 43, but has announced his retirement during the Kenya trials. Kirui will take up the position of Deputy Director of Sport and Chaplaincy for the Kenya Administration Police. Now, Abel Kirui was also an athlete that I really appreciated, great sense of humor. So I'm sad he's not competing anymore, but it's good that he has a new mission to accomplish. So let's look now at upcoming events as we reach the end of our show. The US trials for the World Champions started yesterday in Eugene and continue until Sunday. From today to Sunday, there are also many national championships held in countries worldwide. 8 August, Continental Tour Silver PTS meeting in Banska Bystrica in Slovakia. 9 to 10 August, another Continental Silver Internationales Hochsprung meeting in Heilbronn, Germany. 12 August, Istvan July Memorial moved to Budapest, Continental Tour Gold. 15 to 17 August, NACAC Athletics Championships in Nassau, Bahamas. Then this crazy last stretch of 4 Diamond League meets in 12 days. 16 August, Kamila Skolimovska Memorial in Chorzów. Then 2 silver Continental Tour meets. On 16 August, Chitzius meeting in Bern in Switzerland. The following day, Golden Sand in Miedź-Zdrój in Poland. 18 to 22 August, Junior Pan Am Games in Asunción, Paraguay. 20 August, Atletisima in the Diamond League meet in Lausanne. And also the silver hammer throw in Szombathely in Hungary. 22 August, Memorial Van Damme Diamond League in Brussels, and 27 and 28, the Weltklasse Zürich Diamond League final in Zürich. 31st August is also the Sydney Marathon, making its debut among the World Marathon Majors, as well as marathons in Mexico City and in Harbin, China. 7th September, World Athletics Continental Tour Gold meet in Beijing. And then from the 13th to the 21st, it's the World Championships. So we're now at the end of our program. Thank you all for watching, and see you in 2 weeks on Love Athletics to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what's been happening in our sport over the past fortnight. And we'll be focusing on the US trials and the numerous national championships, which will select teams for Tokyo. So thank you, everyone. See you in a little bit less than 2 weeks. We're recording on the 13th. So have a great time in the meantime. Enjoy the national championships, and see you soon on Love Athletics. Ciao.